Welcome back to Maniacal Music Musings. I'm your host, Jeremy, as always, and I'm no first timer on this ride, and I'm ready to go through the night tonight. Well, not really, but don't be calling me no pretender either, because I love this music game we play. The only tragedy is when people decide to bring country music, or Mariah Carey, I guess, onto the show, and start bringing on the heartbreak with their choices. Make no mistake, though, I'm going to win tonight as always, because I'm walking with my angel like I do every night. My co-host, though, is most certainly a jukebox hero in his own right. He has been since his days during the tragedy with the 11th Street Kids, but we don't talk about that because it hasn't been 30 years yet. He wants to let it go because it left him high and dry, but Lady Strange don't let go of shit. He tells her to stop crying or he's going to break it up to be with his new side piece, Cheyenne. She's a woman in black that tells him, I've been waiting for a girl like you, and it's been an urgent need. Still, every night he stands in his room saying, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the sexiest music god of all? CJ motherfucking Plane, everybody."
Well, it would be me. Hey, yo, guys, what's up?
What's up, CJ?
As soon as I saw that mirror, mirror thing, I knew what I was doing with it. I was fucking running with that shit. But welcome everybody to another amazing episode of Maniacal Music Musings. And you may see a familiar face if you watch 90% of our brackets, because we are being joined once again by Phil from Podcasts.
Yo, how's it going?
It's been a couple of years since Phil's been on a regular episode, so I figured since his wife made her first appearance, and since Aaron made his third, fourth appearance, whatever the hell it is, I figured, you know what, we need to get Phil back in the game. So let's get Phil on and have some fun because he brings interesting music choices. I believe the first time you brought Static X, if I'm not mistaken.
No. Chancey brought Static X. I brought Soundgarden. I think it was Super Unknown.
It was.
Yeah,
yep. Okay.
Super Unknown. Yep.
That made it all come back. Yeah, it was Super Unknown. I'm still not a Soundgarden fan, but nobody else is trying to bring. I think we did maybe one of their other records too, but still can't get them. Static X was not much better. But
I'm glad I didn't pick Audio Slave, or you mentioned country music. I almost picked The Redheaded Stranger. So you're in luck. I picked an album maybe that you find more agreeable.
I believe so, possibly, but. Well, since everybody that watches this show and listens to it already knows your podcast by now, because they've heard us mention it 1,000 times by now, let's get right to it. What album did you want to bring us this time, Phil?
Well, so back in 1982 or 83, must have been 83, I had my first job delivering flyers for a pizza store, and it was pretty cool, because I got out and about, and there was like a girl that was working with us, and she was cute, and we were having a good summer, and I think Pyromania 84 or 83 by Def Leppard. 83. Okay, so it's perfect. That puts me right in the window I'm thinking of here. So it on constant play every hour, they would play Pyromania and Photograph. Like once on 15 minutes on the hour, it'd be Pyromania, then it would be Photograph. And so I got really, those songs just blew up that summer. It's impossible to describe how huge that was on FM rock radio. And so that got me into the band a little bit, and I started looking into their other albums. And I discovered On Through the Night, which I think was their first release in like probably 80 or 81. And I liked that. It seemed like it was, I would say it sounded a little bit raw, but it really was a good rocking album. But what I really liked was High and Dry from 1982. It has it just had it had that great guitar sound. It was Joe Elliott's voice was awesome. I just really appreciated listening to it again, I had forgotten a lot of these songs. I hadn't listened to them since then hardly. But it really came back to me just what a great album this is from beginning to end. Like when I rank these, the ones that are really ranked last are still really good songs, like "You Got Me Running" and "No No No." But I just think that after Pyromania, I don't know what. I guess what happened to this band is it just matured and the production values uh, became better, but they seemed to get more involved in with synthesizers, and it seemed like a little bit more of a hair metal sound or whatever. I really felt like their first three albums, and including High and Dry by Def Leppard, was their best work. And I would have liked to seen it, maybe go on that trajectory a little longer. But it seems like Def Leppard developed a real following among female following. It seemed like a
Well,
lot of their music kind of became evolved to appeal to that sector of their audience. But
like all hair metal bands of that era, they definitely generated a female audience that became more of their target base. But I I'll go first on this one this week because I want to say something for last. Morning, CJ. But yeah, I've actually seen Def Leppard live, so I am a massive Def Leppard fan. I got into them in my middle school hair rock years, and I saw them live with Lita Ford and Poison opening for them. So
okay,
it was a good. They still got it. The drummer with one arm was still going then. I mean, that was I think 2011. So it's been a good 14 years since I went to see them. But
yeah,
I've never listened to this album in full. I knew a couple songs off it, but most of the songs were pretty new to me because they didn't perform that night, and I never actually went back and did a full deep dive on Def Leppard. I want to now because I'm like, all right, let's see what else they did. But yeah, I mean, this album was pretty banging. I mean, there was only a few songs I really couldn't stand. The rest of them were decent, either decent or really good songs. And the guitar work is incredible. The guitar work's incredible, and his voice was amazing on this album. It must have been before he got hard on the drugs, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely it's got some classics on it, and I like that it's not as hit filled as another album tonight we'll talk about in a minute, but it's more unknown stuff, at least to me, and it's the same with when we do Blue Oyster Cult or any other band like that on this, or even I guess even Bob Seger. But it's always a discovery thing for me because these type of bands, at least if you grew up in my generation, their hits from radio playing from your parents listening to like playlists or mixtapes. Yes, there were mixtapes back then, not mix CDs. But you don't know like all the B-side tracks and stuff like that people usually didn't just play randomly. So yeah, I mean, this is a pretty damn good album. I mean, I've heard Pyromania, and this is even better than Pyromania is, like production wise at least. But so yeah, I read it. It was a good way to start my morning. I enjoyed it.
thought that bringing on the heartbreak. I want to talk about that for a second because I feel like these power ballads became so huge, like towards the mid '80s and stuff. But this is kind of one of the original kind of bringing on the heartbreak is one of the original, I think, power ballads. And it sounds, even it rocks though. I mean, it really builds to a crescendo. The whole album is loud, but not in a bad sense. Even the power ballad is powerful.
Oh yeah, I mean the power ballad is definitely more powerful than the power ballad on the I brought tonight, which is saying something. So you can feel the emotion when he sings "Bringing On the Heartbreak." When he sings that chorus, you could feel the emotion in it. So, and when he does it live, even 30, 40 years later, it still sounds the same. So, they did do that. They did that song, of course, live. But so, CJ, what do you think of High and Dry?
So you got to remember, this band has got three distinct eras. Their first two records which is On Through the Night. In this one, the guitar players were Steve Clark and Pete Willis. Pete was, you know, the new wave of British heavy metal guy. He was very much into the Priest and Sweet Savage type of sound. So it shows up here in the more metal style. Pete left after this record was replaced by Phil. Phil and Steve recorded Pyromania and part of Hysteria, but Steve died halfway through the Hysteria recording. So that's the third era of where, you know, Steve is replaced essentially by Vivian Campbell. So that's why you gradually get like from the heavier first record onto the more pop of the new stuff. I like this record. This was when we hung out in the basement and lifted weights. We had 3 records that we listened to religiously. 3 completely different records. One was High and Dry. One was Elton John's Too Low for Zero. And the third one was Synchronicity by the Police. So I listened to this record a shit ton growing up. This and Pyromania both, because I was in LA when Pyromania broke, along with it broke at the same time as Metal Health by Quiet Riot, and See You in Hell by Grim Reaper was huge. I'm trying. There was a third one too that I can't remember. That came. Black Tiger by Y&T was the other one that were really huge records at the time, and you know, good records all the way around. So, it's one of my favorite Def Leppard records, personally. So, you know,
Yeah.
I liked it a lot more before they went all kind of cheesy. So
Right. That's kind
I,
of
I
the
like
way I
the
feel.
darker. I like the darker Def Leppard. Like even during that later era, I like the Slaying record a lot better than the other records. And most people will talk down on Slaying because it was more grungy sounding, more dark lyrically, but it kind of almost harkens back to this record of having that dark attitude.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I think
it's a
I
good
saw.
record.
I think I saw Rolling Stone had ranked. I'm going to say High and Dry Saturday Night as the 30. Not Rolling Stone. You know, a lot of people don't really give a shit what Rolling Stone thinks, but the 33rd best metal song of all time at one time. And I don't think very many people think of Def Leppard as a metal band now, but
Well,
That's what they started with.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it's what they started as, and Rolling Stone does use the term metal very loosely. Trust me. I had that bracket, top 100 metal songs, Rolling Stone. I have that bracket choice. It's on the list. We haven't touched it yet, but there's a couple Def Leppard on there, I think. But if I'm not mistaken, I made that list, God, a year and a half ago. But it's pretty sure Def Leppard's on there a couple times. Well, Bill, what are your top 5 for this? Because I'm kind of dying to hear what everybody thinks about their top 5s for this one.
Well, like I said, I really becoming reacquainted with some of these songs. I just went ahead and ranked them all, but I'll give you the top 5 and then sprinkle in a couple honorable mentions. But number 5, On Through the Night. Number 4, Another Hit and Run. Number 3, Bringing on the Heartbreak. Number 2 is really tough. I went back and forth between it and number 1, but Let It Go and High and Dry, number 1. And you know, a lot of the other songs, like I said, that I was revisiting and became reacquainted with. The band was just really strong lyrically, and just the rhythm guitar, and just the way almost all of them really hit home again. But I did like Switch 625, especially because I usually don't like instrumentals, but I think that's a really good rocking instrumental. Um, Mirror, Mirror. Um, Even the last song, Lady Strange, I gave it a third listen and was like, why did I rank it last? But because it's still a strong entry as well. So I just think it's really strong from top to bottom.
Yeah, it's definitely I mean, it definitely is. Like it doesn't really wane and it doesn't ebb and flow. It just keeps rocking the whole time. It doesn't really. I don't think there's one song that really disappointed me.
Right.
Unlike other albums tonight.
Like you didn't hear something and say to yourself, well, that was a guy, somebody in the band had some sort of epiphany, and this is this is nothing weird on it. It's just a straightforward rock with a lot of guitars, and it really sounds like an album from the late '70s, if I do say so. It's Boston or something, maybe, or something that's guitar centric like that. But that's
81. I mean, yeah, it's going to be 70 sounding at least. Which, I mean, because we just did a 70s show last week, and these records really sound similar to those in a way, but in a good way, not in a bad way. But I had one honorable mention for this album. High and Dry is my honorable mention, the title track. It was a good way to start the album, and it was a pretty good song. I never heard it before. Like, it was a really good song. Let It Go to number 5. Never heard that one either. Really good track. On Through the Night was my number 4, and I liked the way they sing the chorus in that really poked me. Bring Down the Heartbreak my number 3 because I know that one obviously, and I'm honestly surprised it was my number 1, but a couple other ones knocked it down. But Bring Down the Heartbreak is a classic. I freaking love that song. As soon as I saw that was on this record, I was like, okay, I ain't gonna be disappointed by this record, I don't think. Number 2 was Lady Strange because the guitar is so freaking phenomenal in that song, and the lyrics are pretty damn good too. So Lady Strange was number 2. My number 1 was Mirror Mirror. I don't know. There's something about that song that just drew me in. I ended up like repeating it a couple times. I just love the way he sings like Mirror Mirror, like look into my eyes, like it's almost like Styx X, like that kind of like music from the 70s. Like it reminded me of that. So I enjoyed the hell out of it. Mirror Mirror was a really good song, and I mean I could have threw a couple more on there as honorable mentions, but I just didn't want to. With classic rock albums, I don't like the freaking. I tried to put them all on the list because it's hard not to, but they're usually they're classic for a reason. But
Yep.
Well done. Yeah. I like it a lot better than Soundgarden. That's for damn sure. So.
Well, what about Audio Slave? Maybe that'll be next time.
I don't know if anyone ever brought them on the show, and I'm pretty sure. Actually, I don't know. I almost guarantee Chancey did at one point. I almost fucking guarantee it. But him and his 90s fucking rock. But Chancey, I mean, see, thinking about Chancey now. CJ, what were your top 5?
So for this record, I didn't add Switch 625 simply because it's an instrumental. That was actually Pete's guitar solo for the live show. So it was for him. Number 5 is High and Dry Saturday Night because it's one of the best Kiss songs that Kiss never wrote. If you listen to that song, it just sounds like one of the Gene Simmons Kiss songs. Like God of
say that.
Or,
I can hear that.
It sounds like one of the songs like God of Thunder or Domino or something like Gene would sing, you know. You Got Me Running is number 4. Number 3 is No No No. I've always liked the kind of heaviness of that guitar.
I hate the way that song ends. Like the end of that song, like completely made me hate it. Like it was almost like you're trying to be Queen, but you're not quite Queen.
But actually, I agree totally with you. Number 2 is Lady Strange. I love that song. And my number 1 is Mirror Mirror. Mirror Mirror is, I like the heaviness of it. Lady Strange is actually based, if you know the band and if you know anything about Joe Elliott, you'll understand. Lady Strange is actually based off a Mata Hoople song, which is where the melody and the kind of almost Bowie type of style comes from in it. But Mirror Mirror, I like the tone of that guitar. That was another one that Pete Willis wrote, and Pete was a phenomenal guitar player. Problem being, much like Steve, because it ended up killing Steve, Pete was a drinker, so serious alcohol problems derailed Pete's career. And after Pete left Def Leppard, he never did anything else. Died pretty early, so it wasn't a good start to either of their guitar players' careers or lives.
Yeah, not everybody's cut out for that, a rock and roll lifestyle, but not everybody could be Ozzy and take every drug known to man and then go talk to a horse and stop doing drugs.
Right.
So
Survived
but
that wreck he had that almost killed him. But this band had all kinds. I mean, this band had all kinds of tragedy. Apparently, and like you said,
oh god, yeah,
fate-altering events, and especially the drummer.
Yeah, I say that was the other thing. They had to switch the style up for Rick because Rick lost his arm. So.
Wasn't there a TV movie? There was a TV movie about the Def Leppard, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah.
In 7th grade music class, we had to watch. I'm not sure if it was that movie or if it was a documentary, but we had to watch something about the drummer from Def Leppard in 7th grade music class. And like how he lost his arm and how he like learned to play again after losing his arm and how he had to change his style up. Right.
And you got to remember, after from Hysteria on, all their records were produced by Shania Twain's husband. So,
Mud Lang.
Yeah.
I mean, he should do what that one band that Chancey loves does and just play the bass like their snares. But I forget who that is. I feel like it's Death, but I feel like I'm wrong. But
I got a lot of respect for him. There's our bands that probably would have moved on with a different drummer, and so they.
I got respect for them just pushing through everything they've been through and still continuing. I mean, they've been through a lot of shit in their career.
Oh yeah, I mean, I know them
40 years later.
I mean, I know their name my whole life, and the fact I got to see them live in my freaking, what would it be, my 20s? Yeah, my 20s was freaking unbelievably like I'm pretty sure it was actually I think it was the last concert my dad and I went to. I think Motley Crue and Aerosmith was before that. So, and
you got to respect a band that is playing the same exact set list in 2018 that they played in 1987 when I saw them.
I'm sure. Yeah,
exactly the same.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, this is the first Def Leppard album to ever be brought on the show, and I'm honestly amazed by that. After 100 plus episodes, that's the first one. But I'm also surprised no one's brought Power Mania yet. But
so does that mean they're off the table now, or when you said there's no repeats?
There's no album. Then just the album. Oh God, no!
Okay.
I've brought some of the same artists fucking 10 times for God's sakes before. I mean. Hell, ICP's got to be hitting 5 or 6 albums now, but and I mean, Chancey used to bring the same rock metal bands like every couple months, but yeah.
I found the band I'm bringing on here just based on their name.
Oh God!
I saw the name, and I was like, that can't be a real band. And then I listened to it, and it was like, okay, these guys are really fucking good. Why do they have quite possibly the dumbest goddamn name I've ever heard for a fucking rock band? They're fucking called Vampires on Tomato Juice.
Oh, I've heard of them. I never actually listened to. I never actually listened to them, but I've heard that name.
They sound like System of a Down. They're fucking awesome. It was
that's
like
I think that's why I know them is because I think somebody showed them to me because of that. But
yeah.
well, I guess we'll move on to my album I brought since I want to save. Well, we'll stick in the same lane for now until we go to somewhere else. Put it that way for now. And this, I'm not gonna lie, this was a fucking hard one yet again this week. 81 was a good year for freaking music. Oh my god, I almost brought a freaking third Frank Zappa album in a month, but because of course Frank Zappa had like 2 albums or 3 albums released that year. So I was like, no, I'm not doing that
He's
again.
got 2 or 3 records released every year.
Yeah, basically. But and like I was really boggling my mind what to bring for this one, and I swear to God, I almost brought the Cool and the Gang album that came out this year because I was like, I had it copied and everything to send to CJ, and I was like,
I would have been a
yeah,
winner. No, I would
I
have been a winner. I love Cool and the Gang.
I know
Yeah, yeah.
I do everybody does. I mean, I think, but everybody
Yeah,
usually
they're
does.
awesome. I
But I was
listened to
like,
that
you know
shit.
what?
It was good.
I'm well because I'm also was inspired by the bracket that I picked right before I picked this album for the show, and I was like, I'm like, you know what? Let me keep looking, see what else came out that year, and I got through the whole list, and something stuck out to me. A certain album I saw stuck out to me. I looked at the track list where I'm like, my mom had this in her car when I was a kid, and we used to blast this CD a lot, especially if there's like 2 or 3 songs that we put on repeat and blasted. One of them I used to be able to sing lyric for lyric and until that day, until the cows came home. I can't do it anymore because I haven't listened to it really that much anymore. But I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I am bringing Foreigner's 4 album, like literally the 4th album they put out, and I was like, I never have seen them live. It's always been a want to see them live because I hear their shows are amazing. But I was like, yeah, I'm like, if we're gonna match Def Leppard, I'm gonna bring another classic rock band, and that's Foreigner because Foreigner is one of the best classic rock bands of that era, and a couple of their big hits are on this one, plus some songs I never knew existed that are actually really good. So, or at least if I knew they existed, I don't remember them existing. So, yeah, I brought Foreigners 4, and I was not disappointed in one fucking bit by this album, like I have been in the past by bringing older classic rock albums. So, this one did not let go the whole time. It was a ride, and you strap the fuck in and keep going. But yeah, what did you think of Foreigners 4 there, Phil?
Well, I'd like to tell you that I've seen Foreigner live, but we went and saw him last year, and I think there may have been one member of the original Foreigner was with them, but they sounded really good. This basic cover band, they sounded really good and performed a lot of these songs on in that show. Um, you know, Lou Graham's one of the greatest vocalists in rock history, I think. And their sound is distinctly American. You know, we talked about a British band. I think Foreigner sounds like an American band, you know. And
Well, Foreigner is British and American. They were half and half.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. They formed in New York City, but yeah. And I mean, and they also have the original lineup had a couple members from other famous bands like King Crimson that came over. So
Okay. Yeah, I really like Four. You know, I can't say I had not heard the entire album either until this exercise, but I knew roughly half the songs off of it. A lot of hits came off of this. Um, it didn't. Some of the lesser known tracks didn't really grab me the way that I was kind of hoping they would. But I do like you know the standards that are on there. You can't beat maybe 6 or 7 songs on this album. I mean, it's just a great album, you know.
I'm
And
pretty sure it's their best selling, most popular album of all time, if I'm not
mm,
mistaken. But
I don't doubt it.
CJ, what did you think of 4?
This is another record that I listened to a ton growing up. It's got one of my life songs on it, or that I like to call them. You know, songs you hear and you kind of see yourself in it because growing up, you had a certain goal in life,
Yep.
and this song is, um, great band. No original members left. Mick kind of tours with them a little bit, but he doesn't play much. Jeff is a bass player to Jeff Pilson from Dokken. Um, Singer was Kelly Hansen for decades. He was originally in Hurricane, um, but he retired. So uh, Louis Maldonado took over, which is he's another great singer. He's going to be a flawless replacement. I got to see Lou last year um, for the Brett Michaels Party Girl thing. Uh, Brett had Chris Jansen, Don Felder from the Eagles, and Lou Graham, and D. Snyder open the show. Oh, do like they did. So they did like 4 or 5 of their major hits, and then Brett came out and sang like 2 songs with each of them. Um, really cool show. Lou still sounds great considering he's beaten cancer twice, and you know it's looking a little less for the wear from the years, but
Sure.
really surprised me with how great he still sounded, and very very nice guy. Got to meet him, got to meet Brett, uh, got to meet Don. Didn't get to meet D. Snyder, which is probably a good thing because probably would have cussing D. Snyder out. But you know, um, really fun show. So I was glad to get to see. I've seen Foreigner a bunch of times over the years, so pretty much in all of their inclinations over the years. Um, I even got to see Lou uh, kind of cross thing. Lou and Vivian Campbell from Def Leppard had a one-off group called Shadow King that I got to perform
Yeah.
live.
I've heard of Shouting.
Yeah, it was a one-off record, and I got to see them perform a local show. They didn't do a lot of shows for the record because it didn't sell well, but
Yeah.
perform and fun show. So yeah,
Well,
great record.
well, for this album, I had 2 honorable mentions, and actually, the first one much surprised everybody. But my honorable mention is "Waiting for a Girl Like You," because I honestly thought it was going to be in the top 2 or 3 of my list, but it got pushed down pretty fast, and it's a classic. It's so overplayed and overused and everything nowadays. So, I mean, it's amazing. And like I said before on Def Leppard's album, it's not the ballad that "Bring Down the Heartbreak" is. Like it's almost like there's like little to no emotion in it, at least from what I hear. So, "Bring Down the Heartbreak" has a lot more emotion in it than that song does. And my other honorable mention was "Don't Let Go." That was a good song. It just didn't blow me away. My number 5 was "Break It Up" because it's almost a better love ballad than "Waiting for a Girl Like You," but it's more like an anti-love ballad. So, I mean, I don't know. I was kind of confused about that song. I was like, what the fuck is this? I can't figure out what it's supposed to be. But my number 4 was "I'm Going to Win" because I never heard that song, but that's a really good song. That blew me away. Not as much as this next one did. This next one is the only one left on my list I didn't know before. But my number 3 is "Woman in Black" because the guitar riffs are fucking incredible in that song. I don't know. Whenever these classic rock bands sing about like a certain woman they're thinking of, like they always have the best guitar work. I don't know why, but maybe it's just the
Probably
emotion.
somebody they know. It's probably somebody they know from the road, right? They're probably
Oh yeah,
actually talking about somebody. Yeah.
oh yeah, they definitely are. I mean, Lady Strange, Woman in Black, they're definitely talking about somebody, and they put the emotion into the guitar when they do those songs. So, but my number 2 is "Urgent" because "Urgent" is one of the best fucking songs of all time. Just that fucking chorus, the way he does like the repeating of "urgent" like in different tempos is fucking incredible. And the sax solo after he does the chorus is always, since I was a kid, blown me away. Like it's always just, if I hear that in a store, you better believe I'm singing on top of my lungs. But And my number one, I kind of agree with what CJ said. There's certain songs that make you want to be something in life, and you can kind of see yourself in a music video all your own when you hear these songs. And Blue Oyster Cult has one song that's similar to this that I freaking feel the same way about. Oh, what the fuck? I always forget what it's fucking called, but I don't know. I know the chorus is "Tonight I'm Gonna Rock and Roll," but I forget what the fuck the song's called. But Jukebox Hero is my number one because when I was a kid, I could fucking sing out that song lyric for a lyric, like on top of my lungs in the car, in my mom's car. Like and you just picture yourself like become this musician, like being a rock star, and fucking
Yeah.
having all the girls around you when you're like a young man. Like hearing a song like this, just it gives you dreams, it gives you hopes, and then life just shatters them all, and you're fucked. But this song makes you feel shit. So Jukebox Hero is still one of my favorite songs of all time. Anytime I see it in any of the brackets I follow on Twitter, like I always fucking vote for it because and if it ever shows up in any of my brackets, which there's a bunch with it on it, but we haven't hit them yet. But I mean, and I have a fucking foreigner bracket, and I have a feeling Jukebox Hero could fucking win the whole thing, but we'd have to wait and see. But I mean, it's gonna have competition, obviously. It's foreigner, but Jukebox Hero is Jukebox Hero is just one of those songs that's it's almost like a musicasm. It literally is every time you hear it.
I can think of a couple AC/DC songs. Long Way to the Top, or
That's
Rock and Roll Singer. What's the one? Going to be a rock and roll singer. Going to be a rock and roll star. Bon Scott era song. Anyway, what were you saying, Jeremy?
I don't know. ACDC is. I have the feelings about ACDC, and
Yeah.
it's gonna. I don't know. To me, it's just ACDC is one of those bands I really can't say. And Long Way to the Top makes you not want to be a musician because it tells you how. Oh, the Marshall Plan. That's the Blue Oyster Cult song I couldn't think of. It's the Marshall Plan. That's the one that is like basically equivalent to Jukebox Hero in my mind. But
I think it's two different bands. You know, the Bon Scott version of AC/DC, I think, is amazing. But that's for
they
another
had
day, I guess.
they had some good fucking songs. I'm not gonna lie, they had some good fucking songs, but they just got overplayed.
Kmart days.
Yeah, I mean they got overplayed in the fucking 90s 2000s way too much in everything you could fucking put them in. They put them in. It's just all of them. But what were your top five there for Foreigner, Phil?
Well, okay. So, honorable mention. I put "I'm Going to Win." I really didn't have it that high until I gave it one last listen. I was like, you know what? I don't know if I like that lyric so much, but it's a pretty badass song. So I went ahead and it's on the outside looking in, but it's ranked a little bit higher than it was. But my top five are starting with "Nightlife." And I agree with you, Jeremy. I really liked "Woman in Black." There's something about that. It was just hooked me. I really liked it. I feel like you said, I feel like whoever wrote that, I don't know if it was Lou Graham or whoever, it was from personal experience or something. You know, it wasn't just off the cuff. And number three, I have "Waiting for a Girl Like You." I appreciate what you say about, it's overplayed. It's a little bit maybe not as passionate as some ballads. They close with "I Want to Know What Love Is" on the show I saw.
That's more of a ballad. That's more of a ballad to me.
Yeah, and I
If
like
you
it
never
better than that.
if you've never seen the movie,
that's just part two to "Waiting for a Girl Like You."
yeah, it kind of is. I can hear that now you say it, but I mean, if you've never seen the movie Good Boys, it came out in like 2019, I think.
Yeah.
It's a hilarious fucking movie about three kids on an adventure, but they're doing a 80s Hollywood musical in the school, and at the end of the movie, the kid who's in the musical sings "I Just Want to Know What Love Is," while he's like because it's based on the teacher's experience in L.A. So the kid's singing the song while doing like fake lines of coke off the table and everything. It's fucking hilarious, but it's like that's all I think about when I think about that song now is that movie because they did such a good job with it. Like when you're gonna do something like that with it, it actually makes the song better. If you're just gonna put it in the background for every cheesy romance scene in a movie, then it's gonna be shit. But
I think it's got like a quiet cool about it. That's what I was trying to say. Before the Foreigner sound, it seems like an American band. I don't know. It just seems to have like I don't know where like you said. Did you say they were formed in New York or New Jersey or something?
New
It just
York,
kind of has.
Yeah.
Waiting for a
So
Girl Like You seems to have a quiet cool about it. I think more so than a lot of ballads. I think it's really good, but you're right. It probably does have a fatigue factor. But number two, I have Urgent. I think I got the same as you, Jeremy. I got number one, Jukebox Hero for some of the same things
how
that you
can you
said.
not? How
It's
can you
almost like
not?
when they strum the guitar. It's almost like when Charlemagne's pulling the sword out of the rock, like something magical happens, and then it just pulsates and builds up. It's just a fantastic, you know,
I
energetic
think you
song.
mean I think you mean Arthur, not Charlemagne. But
No, you're right, Arthur. Right, right.
I was like Charlemagne was just a fucking. Uh,
I got my
that's all.
mythos mixed up.
Well, Charlemagne. Oh, okay. Charlemagne was actually real, but yeah, that's just Charlemagne's history, like real history. But well, okay, I'm not getting down that rabbit hole of medieval history because Arthur is supposed to be real too. But that's a whole nother show, a whole nother rabbit hole.
But you
But
know what I mean. He
I,
grabs that sword out of the rock.
mm,
You know,
yeah,
yeah,
I mean when he
it's one of the two.
screams. When he screams "Jukebox Hero" at the end of it, you feel it in the deepest parts of your soul. But CJ, what are your top five? Because I have a feeling at least one of them's going to match ours.
So one of the things that's funny about the choice of records tonight um, is how many correlations there are between Foreigner and Def Leppard. For example, you mentioned "Woman in Black." That song was actually written by Mick Jones, a guitar player, but it was written with Mutt Lange, who went on to produce most of the Def Leppard stuff. So Lou played in a band with Vivian Campbell, who's a guitar player for Def Leppard. There's a ton of correlations between Foreigner and Def Leppard, like over the years. There's tons of them. The other weird thing about Women in Black is the keyboards on that are actually done by Thomas Dolby, who was famous in the 80s for the whole "She Blinded Me with Science" song.
Playing
I knew
theater here.
I knew I recognized that name when you said it.
Yeah. And Thomas Dolby actually played on a bunch of hard rock stuff, played keyboards on it. People don't know that, like, because they know Thomas Dolby is this weird sort of, big haired new wave singer.
Yeah.
But Thomas actually played on some of the early Rat stuff. He played on Twisted Sisters. He's the one who played the keyboards and We're Not Gonna Take It. He played on a bunch of hard rock shit that was completely out of character for what he actually performed.
I could see that though. I could see that, and
yeah,
it's poetry in motion.
I
fucking love that guy.
You make your money where you make your money. Top five for me. Number 5 was Woman in Black. The reason I kind of went into that. Number 4 is Girl on the Moon. Number 3 is Luann. Number 2, I'm Gonna Win, just because it's, again, one of them theme songs of, not giving up. Everybody, I knew from an early age I wanted to be a rock star. There was never a plan B or anything else. And what do you want to be when you grow up? I'm going to be a rock star. Oh, that's a cute dream. Well, what about plan B? Plan B is I'm going to be a rock star. There was never a question in my mind. I was going to do music some kind of way. Maybe I'm not going to be David Bowie, but at some point, somewhere, somehow.
Would you want to be David Bowie? That's the real question.
I mean, I'm not saying all that. I'm just saying I never had a plan for anything else. And, you know, part of the problem with my life right now at 54 is 20-year-old me never accounted for there being a 50-year-old. You know, I thought I would be dead or in prison by the time I was 25 or 30. So I never made plans for 50 because I didn't plan on being around for 50. So now I'm 50 and I'm like, okay, why the fuck did you wait till you're 50 to go to college to get a college degree?
I feel you, man. I get it. 57.
You know,
Yeah.
so that's why.
I mean, I'll say it, CJ. My dad lived until he was 58 years old, and until the day he died, his most famous saying to me, my brother wore, "I still don't know what I want to fucking do in my life, and I'm this many years old."
You know, hey, Colonel Sanders didn't hit it big till he was 77. So I don't want to be 77, but I know I don't want to continue living paycheck to paycheck and struggling to pay the fucking taxes on a house that I would rather burn to the ground than have to deal with. But, you know,
for any police listening, he's kidding.
Yeah, right.
Nobody call the cops. I'm not going to burn the house down.
That's right.
But number one, Jukebox Hero. You know, when I heard him sing "Standing in the Rain" with his head hung low, couldn't get a ticket. It was a sold out show. You know, and then you hear the roar of the crowd. You could picture the scene. It was just that image, man, was like, I'm gonna do that one day. I'm gonna stand on a stage in front of a crowd and just have people looking at me instead of me looking at them. And
that's got to be the most like euphoric feeling. I mean, biggest high that you could have. So
it's incredible. I've been lucky. I've got to open shows. I'm not going to say I've ever achieved rock star level, but I have been lucky. I've got to open shows for Jerry Lee Lewis. I've got to open shows for King Diamond. I have played with Seven Dust. We even played on the same show as Keanu Reeves' Dog Star the first time around. So, you know, I've been really lucky with. We did a 2-week tour opening for Pantera a month before they released Cowboys.
In the bathroom and
So,
the
you know, I've been lucky. So, Jukebox Hero.
Yeah, I mean,
one of the songs that
I kind of knew that would be a synonymous number one for everybody when I picked this album, but it's just one of those songs everybody loves. But
yeah, well, it's like the song "Renegade" with Styx. You hear it and you just turn the radio up. You know.
Yeah, that's a Steel. They play that at Steelers games, don't they?
What? Oh, Renegade.
Yeah, that's their Steelers. Like that's their Sweet Caroline there in Pittsburgh, I think.
Oh mama, I'm in fear for mama.
Yeah, that's a badass song.
Dude, it's just it is. It's one of them songs that's so many memories for me. You know.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's why it's the same as the Marshall Plan to me, because it's like the Marshall Plan. The guy talks about like being on a talk. He's like they're doing like a fake Johnny Carson talk show, and like he's getting introduced to the crowd as like the new rock star, and it's all a dream. It's fucking amazing. It's a fucking amazing sequence, and there's a lot of songs like that back in the old days, but it's just I don't know, those songs that make you imagine a dream. But
yeah,
CJ, what album did you want to bring?
So I brought a record because you mentioned Motley Crue last week, and then I made the comment about Vince Neil killing the drummer of Hanoi Rocks, who would have been huge had it not been for that accident, because it pretty much destroyed the band, and the lead singer went solo, and the guitar player formed a band, but he was a heroin addict and all that. Anywho, band out of Sweden called Hanoi Rocks. The record is called Bangkok Shocks, Saigon Shakes, Hanoi Rocks. It was the debut record by them. Not their best record, but it was a record massively influential. Bands like Motley Crue, Guns N' Roses, LA Guns, Junkyard, so many of the LA hair bands simply don't exist without this record. Because this record set the tone for much of what the LA hair scene and glam rock became in the 80s. Good, bad, ugly, and indifferent. This record was very, very influential.
I will say I have opinions, but I don't get to go next. Phil, what do you think of Hanoi Rocks?
Well, it's the first time I heard of it. I heard of them. I gave it 3 listens. The first time I listened, I couldn't discern one song from the next hardly. That's my fault. By my third listen, I really loved this album. This album like rocks from the beginning to end. It's just out of control. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, the singer, his voice is it's not shrill, it's not unpleasant or anything, but it's definitely insane. And I just, I took notes on a lot of the songs. Like Cheyenne, I thought lyrically was one of the best songs. You don't have to worry anymore. Sweet, sweet sound of rock and roll. Just things that was peppered throughout the song. But it had a great opening track, Tragedy, and with a great closing track, Pretender. And those both ranked really high. I thought that he meant CJ. You mentioned L.A. Guns and Guns N' Roses. Tragedy kind of reminds me a little bit of You Could Be Mine by Guns N' Roses in part. Just the way it's kind of a locomotive effect and the guitar playing. So I won't take any more time here, but it blew me away. I really love this album.
My turn. Yay. Well, first and foremost, I'd rather hear Cleveland Rock sung by Drew Carey over on repeat than hear this album. But we're going to have something about rocks in it. And they could never be Motley Crue. Motley Crue is 1,000 times better than they ever would end up being. Just saying. They don't have Vince Neil's voice or Tommy Lee on drums. Just saying. Or Nikki Sixx on guitar. And I guess Mick Mars is there too, but we don't count him.
Okay. Stop right there. First off, Nikki didn't play bass on 3/4 of the shit.
I said guitar. I didn't say bass.
Nikki didn't play guitar. Nikki played bass. Mick Mars played guitar.
Oh. Okay, well, yeah, still. I mean. So,
here's the thing. This band got exponentially better on every single record. This record was recorded in 8 days on a $20,000 budget. Basically in the bass players in Sammy Yaffa's garage. They were one of the first bands to actually have a saxophone as a main instrument. The singer Michael Monroe, plays saxophone. So on songs like Malibu Beach Nightmare, it has this massive, almost Springsteen style sax solos in it. When the band broke up, when Michael Monroe released his first solo record, the first single was literally the song that defines my life, Dead Jail or Rock and Roll. Axl Rose ended up singing backup vocals on the record.
BRB, keep going.
But they're a band that, again, good, bad, ugly, and indifferent. These guys were far from perfect. Michael has said in multiple interviews, Andy McCoy, the guitar player, was a massive heroin addict. They could barely keep him, much like Nicky and Mick, you could barely keep them coherent most of the time. Sammy, the bass player, wrote a lot of the stuff because Sammy was the only one that wasn't on drugs in the band. Razzo ended up getting killed by Vince in the drunk driving accident.
Was he like a passenger?
Huh?
Yeah, he was the passenger. Yeah,
Yeah.
But just a quick, is like you're talking the accident that ended up being the inspiration for Kickstart My Heart?
Yes.
Okay, I want to make sure. Yeah.
Well, no, Kickstart My Heart was about Nicky overdosing.
Oh.
Dr. Feelgood was about the accident.
I could have swore they said in the dirt that
Maybe.
Kickstart My Heart was that.
I don't know. I know Vince got away with murder, essentially. He should have done
star power.
He should have done more than community service for vehicular homicide. Michael has more or less forgiven those guys. I don't know if I would have been able to. Michael is one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. And this guy, much like Hanoi Rocks, every single record that this guy does, because he's like 66 now, I think, 67, he gets better and better. You hear a Michael Monroe solo record and you think, you can't do a better record. And then he'll come out with another record and it's even better.
I know the name. Of Michael Monroe. I knew that name before I heard this album.
Right here is pretty much reserved for the coming tattoo. It's a dedication to them and the song Dead Jail of Rock and Roll. Again, I know this is a rough record. It's rough around the edges, but for like what Phil said, this is a record that it fuses punk and glam and that sort of Springsteen style into just almost a runaway train style, man. It wasn't about being pretty. It was just about getting on stage and blowing the fucking walls out of the joint. And they were very, very good at it. If you go on to listen to the next record after this, Self-Destruction Blues, there's other songs, listen to the song Malibu Beach Nightmare. It's a fucking, just a balls out song with this, like I said, this almost Clarence Clemens Springsteen style sax solo in it. And, it's like part beach party, part fucking glam rock ballad or glam rock anthem. And just an amazing band. I love these guys. I love their look, style, everything about them.
I said the jokes I wanted to say about them. But all that aside, I had to throw the Drew Carey thing in there because Phil's from Ohio. But
Cincinnati.
Cleveland rocks. But yeah,
that's what Ian the Hunter says anyway.
Yeah, we've had one of his albums on the show actually, but Defiance Part 1, I believe. But I'm almost brought his albums again, like other albums of his. I've almost brought him on before, but I keep shying away. I don't know why. But this album, I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. It depends on the song. It's one of those albums where each song is like its own album in a way. Like it's not like a full synchronicity of the whole album comes together. It's all over the place. The beginning of the album was great. The end of the album was great. The middle of the album kind of had me snoring. So it's just kind of the way it went with this one. I'll get into more of it with my top 5. But what are your top 5 for it, CJ?
Number 5 is Village Girl. I like the kind of energy that one has. Stop Crying is number 4. Number 3 is Cheyenne. Number 2 is Lost in the City. It just kind of has that punk vibe to it. But number 1, it's probably one of their most famous songs. There's even a couple bands over the years that have named themselves after the 11th Street Kids. 11th Street in Stockholm is kind of where all the drug dealers, hookers, and it's kind of like Hollywood and Vine in LA. 11th Street Kids, man, is really kind of sums up the epitome of what this band was. Of just drug dealers, pimps, and rock stars, man. I mean, they were even Motley Crue's name. Originally, the name actually comes from Hanoi Rocks because they were known as the Motley Crue. They were a Motley Crue of characters. One was a former pimp, one was a drug dealer, one was they were known as the Swedish Motley Crue, and that's where Nicky actually took the name from Hanoi Rocks for Motley Crue. Again,
interesting.
All credit for 80s rock goes to Hanoi Rock.
and yeah, I know 11th Street Kids is the most listened to song on Spotify according to this album, but
yeah,
by far. But Phil, what were your top 5 for this album?
Well, so like I said before, when I made my first listen, I almost thought it was a punk album. That's why it surprised me a little bit when CJ started unfolding the story about, Motley Crue, and I didn't know about the car. I knew about the car wreck, but I read that you said the drummer, right? He had been killed, but I had no idea that there was a correlation there. So I didn't know how close they were to him. But then the more I listened, it really started to gel. So let me get to my top 5 and quit putting it off. But honorable mention, First Timer. I love the guitar solos in a couple of these songs, and this is one of them. At like the 130 mark, it's just really crazy, off the hook. It's got a lot more structure to it than a punk rock band. That's what I began to realize. Number 5, Don't Never Leave Me. Number 4, Pretender. I thought that was really outstanding finishing song, especially with another great guitar solo towards the end of the song. Cheyenne was number 3, just like CJ had Cheyenne number 3. Lost in the City, number 2. I love the bluesiness of that song with the harmonica and kind of the frenetic pace of it. And then number 1, I just thought Tragedy was awesome. I really liked that song. And like I said, it kind of reminded me of You Could Be Mine by Guns N' Roses a little bit. But this was before Guns N' Roses, so right? So
another
really
band I'm not another band I can't fucking stand.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't as a whole. I don't like Guns N' Roses, but I do like that song. There are songs that are undeniably great, but
I mean, yeah, they got their hits.
There are a bunch of assholes.
Sure.
Andy McCoy, the guitar player for these guys, actually was going to be Guns N' Roses guitar player before Slash, but he had such a massive drug problem that they couldn't keep him straight enough. Slash still had a drug problem, but he was at least coherent enough to be able to play most of the time. And Andy formed his own band. Ironically, it was called Shooting Gallery. So,
I've heard of them. I never listened to them, but I've heard of them.
Yeah. If you know anything about what the term references, Shooting Gallery.
I do. Yeah.
So. Funny and ironic.
I dated one of those for a year. Trust me, I know all the terms. But, well, I actually had 2 honorable mentions for this album. As much as I didn't like a lot of it, I did like enough to get 2 honorable mentions.
It's a long record. I know there's like 17.
Yeah, it's not time wise. It's not long. It's just a lot of tracks. But Cheyenne and 11th Street Kids were my 2 honorable mentions. They're both good songs. I didn't love them, but they're both good songs. Tragedy was my number 5 because I thought that was a great way to open the album, and it was a really good song. Pretender was my number 4, which I honestly was thinking the whole time, like, if they could have paid for the sample, they should have had They should have had The Great Pretender by not Dion. I forget the fucking band. The Temptations? No. It was just in one of our fucking brackets. But Great Pretender should have been. They should have had that sample in the beginning of it.
The Platters, the Great Pretender.
The Platters, right? Yeah, correct. Yeah, it was just in our 1956 bracket. But my number 3 was First Timer because that was a good song. And nobody mentioned my top 2, and I am so happy they didn't because I want to talk about them. My number 2 is Stop Crying because I'm a sucker for a good sax solo, and that had a great sax solo in it. And it's something I tell people all the time: stop your crying, stop your bitching. But my number 1 is Walking with My Angel. How that was not a bigger song than it. That it's not a big song. So how it wasn't a big song at all amazes me. Because it sounds like it could have been an 80s movie theme song. Or a TV theme song from the 80s.
Yeah.
And the sax parts in it are fucking great. And, as a paranormal podcaster, anything to do with angels, I'm fucking down for. So, Walking with My Angel definitely was my number 1. That song was fucking blew me away. I was almost like, at that point in the album, I was just like, oh God, when is this over? And then I heard that song, I was like, hello, what's this now in the mist? But, yeah, I mean, this album surprised me in some ways, and also disappointed me in some ways. I never heard of Hanoi Rocks either until you brought this album. So, I never even heard their name. So, I mean, I've heard of Michael Monroe. I just never heard Hanoi Rocks. But, so, yeah, once again, you surprised me. Not exactly all in a good way, but you surprised me.
They're not for everybody. And they do get better if you listen. Like you'd be shocked how much of an improvement there is between this one and Self-Destruction Blues, which came out like 8 months later.
Yeah, I mean, it's. Yeah, I will say I am.
Loved it. I loved it.
Well, there you go. The guest loves that. That's all really matters. But well, folks,
check out these other. I'm a Dead Jailer Rock and Malibu Beach Nightmare. I'll be checking those out. So
Dead Jailer Rock and Roll is on his solo record. Not.
I kind of want to check out the one album that I read in the Spotify bio was like their big album that came out like a few albums later. Like I read that was their big album, the one that came out like 94 or something like that. Or maybe it was 84. I forget the name of it. I'd have to fucking look at it again. Actually, I could tell you because I got Spotify open always.
Wasn't Hanoi Rocks because they broke up in like 80, 85, 86. They only did like, unless it was like a compilation record. Because
no, what the hell was it? Let me get to their freaking bio here because they'll tell me. Oh,
I say Michael Monroe has done a ton of solo records since.
No, it was a Hanoi.
Talking about Desolation Boulevard.
No, I can't fucking find it. Of course,
that was a compilation.
Actually, what was the hell? I guess look at their albums and figure it out. I'm pretty sure. Oh, Self-Destruction Blues. That was the one they said.
That's the one that's the record right there. That's the record. Like, if you want to hear Hanoi Rocks just go fucking 1,000 miles an hour, balls out, and rip the fucking joint apart, it's Self-Destruction Blues. It's such a great title for that record because it's a bluesy record, but you can hear the nihilism and the fucking just we're throwing everything out at this point. Like, we're gonna make or break on this bitch. Like, I mean, this was a record that, I mean, they spared no expense, nothing, and I mean, it was a record.
Yep.
That's got Dead by Christmas on it. Dead by Christmas is another one that is just a fucking crazy sax solo.
I have a Christmas metal songs bracket that might be on it, I think. But Phil,
we'll cover up Black Sabbath on that one by Black Sabbath.
Folks, we brought you 3 albums as always, and we hope you enjoyed another classic rock episode. I can already guarantee you next week won't be that. So come back and see what we have next week. It's going to be a whole nother show. But Phil, always appreciate you coming back on. Where can they find you guys for the thousandth time in the show.
Well, thanks for asking. You can find us at Pod on all the major platforms. We're also on the Antisocial Network. If you just search we usually come up right at the top. We come right up at the top. So, podcast about nothing, sort of the Seinfeld of the podcast world.
And CJ, where can they find you?
Music God CJ Plain .rocks ROCKS. You can find the Music God Reacts on YouTube. The Loud List is out, top 10 lists, and it debuted Halloween night. The Mosh Pit Manifesto. You can find it Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of that. Just look for the weird De La Muerto sort of guitar player logo. First episode, Chris from the Reticent. Second episode is going to be Babylon AD. Then we're going to have David Reese of Bangalore Choir and a whole bunch of other shit coming. That's where you find it.
All right.
And folks, well, before I tell you where to find us, be sure to go check out the new Lord of the Lost single that dropped today with Infected Rain guesting on it. Would You Walk With Me Through Hell? I cannot get over how amazing that video and that song is today. It blew me away. I cannot wait for Opus Noir Volume 2 to come out in December. I will be bringing it on this fucking show the first chance I get after it comes out. Because the first three singles that dropped, well, two of the first three singles that dropped are amazing. The third one's not my style, but it's still pretty amazing. But go check that out, folks, because I got to bring you the music news as I find it. And you can find us on Facebook as Squatchy Largefoot, on X and the Gram as @Juggalo Bastard, and on YouTube as Maniacal Musings. It's the best place to see everything we've ever done is YouTube. And I just upped the episode limit on Spotify because I didn't realize I needed to. But so there's now 100 past episodes available on Spotify. So back to the original co-host and me way back when. So go check it out. It's been a year almost since Chanty and I did an episode. So we're actually going to be hitting the anniversary in a couple weeks. But it's right around the birth of my daughter. So in a couple weeks. But go check it out. Come back next week to see what albums we have for you next week. It's going to be a whole mishmash of shit. And come on this Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern to see us do the first part of the Rolling Stones Top 100 Motown Songs bracket. But we'll see you all then. Have a good night, everybody.